So yes, we're from Akumina, and we have built a product on top of SharePoint for content entry, for site management, and for administration. SharePoint's a large market. There's over 67,000 organizations that use SharePoint. I'd argue that many of you in here, your companies use SharePoint as well. And SharePoint is really taking off from an adoption from Microsoft's push towards the cloud and pushing their Office technologies down from the cloud to organizations. So it's a very popular platform. It's very widely used, but it does have a problem. And the problem with SharePoint is that it is not friendly for line of business users. Those folks that are in HR, communications, marketing, client services. Really think of any line of business user that is not a technologist, that's not an information manager. They don't understand how SharePoint is architected because, frankly, it is architected for high technology workers, IT workers. And so its structure is one that does not lend itself to being intuitive. What we provide is a better experience for content management. So we provide an interface that hides a lot of the complexity of SharePoint and really just exposes the elements that those workers that utilize SharePoint need to understand, utilize business systems need to understand. So for instance, somebody updating press releases, they really need to know 5 or 6 different things about that press release. They need to know the topic, they need to know the information they need to get out there. What they don't need to understand is a website structure. They don't need to understand back-end architecture of this complex IT system like SharePoint. And they shouldn't have to be trained in that. And frankly, we've seen that training really isn't the answer because they don't remember the training, they don't remember the complexities, and every time they go in, they're faced with that same challenge of not understanding what they're trying to do, even though for them it should be a very simple task. We also provide a very simple installer and configuration. And I always like to say that this is the best part of the product, and I don't really get to demo it, is that we plug into SharePoint as it exists in an organization. So people leverage SharePoint, they already have it stood up, they're already using it, they already have content in it. Organizations don't need to go back and reorganize SharePoint. They don't need to re-engineer it, they don't need to re-architect it to use our product. We plug right in, we have a simple configurator that goes and looks at the SharePoint installation and automatically starts rendering new apps based on the content that those folks need to manage. So it's a very intuitive application, but it's also very powerful because it leverages all of the strengths of SharePoint that people adopt it for, but it hides all of the complexity that people don't really want to expose their business users to. This is the demo site that we'll be updating during the demo here. We'll take a look at a couple of different content types and we'll take a look at editing those. So first we'll go in and we'll take a look at a press release. So I'll navigate over to the news page here. We'll take a look at that press release. And this is an example of content that people typically need to update. Very straightforward. And then we also have a case study that we'll upload as well as a document. So 2 very common use cases that I'd argue that people do every single day with content platforms that SharePoint makes very difficult. When we take a look at our interface, though, and we go in and take a look at how easy that is, we simply expose people to the apps that they need to access. So I'm never going to show somebody who's not an admin app. I'm only going to show them the apps that they should see. So you see all the apps here in our app dashboard. I have the ability to go in and reorder these apps any way that I want. I can search among these apps. You can see I'm searching and I'm filtering. So I can quickly get to just the content type that I want to edit today or right at this moment. And then I have the ability, again, to go in and reorder these things so that they're in an order that makes sense to me. And this is all personalized. So when I log back in, the order that I put things in will persist. When somebody else logs in, they will have different apps. They might see a different order, and that will persist for them. So we make it very user-centric as well so that when I come back, I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'll go in now, and I'll take a look at editing a press release in a moment here. Right now I'm just searching for different content types. You can see they come up in our dashboard. And then the next step we'll take is let's actually go into a press release and make an edit. So right now I see all the press releases that are currently on the site, and I'm going to add a new one. And again, adding is very simple. It's just the fields that I need to go in and have access to edit. In SharePoint, there's dozens of options that I would normally have to see here. Here I'm seeing 4 or 5 buttons, 4 or 5 fields. I can input those quickly, make the choices I need to very quickly, and I can get that content into the system and out on the site very, very quickly as well. Go ahead and publish that out. And now I've updated that content type, and we'll go in and we'll take a look at adding a document into the system as well. So if we go into the document app, again, same interface, same concepts, but now I'm just seeing the 3 or 4 fields that I need to understand to go in and upload this document into the system. And again, tag it with metadata, which allows it to be categorized and shared appropriately on the website. Once that content is in the system, we can go and take a look back at the demo site. We see that that content is now in the system immediately. It did not take me a long time to go in and do that. It was literally just a couple of minutes to go in and make both of those edits. That press release is there. If we go in and take a look at the resource library, we're going to see that I can actually filter by those different categories that I tag things by. Again, allowing people to get to the content quickly is also important. But now I can see the document that I've uploaded. I can go ahead and save it and download it. So it's a very simple, very intuitive solution. Thank you.